Amaterasu. Yes, she's a dog, so what? GLaDOS was a computer, and besides, this might be the top 15 women in video games, but I never said I was going to be human exclusive. Besides, how was I supposed to simply not include her? The game is constantly reminding you that you're in control of a female character, but again, how could I not include Amaterasu? She is inspired in Japanese folklore and Shinto mythology. Depicted as the sun goddess, she is actually what is depicted as the mother of life. And what better example of a female role model than the mother figure? Besides, in the game, she is reincarnated into the world as a pure white wolf. How cool is that? But as a benevolent goddess, Ami is good-willed and not to mention just lovable. Who's a good girl? You are! And yet, she can also be lazy and childish. She likes to help all those who need her assistance, as she tries to restore nature to the land and cast out the darkness, just like in the Japanese myth. At times, she comes off as not the brightest of creatures, often described by Isun as all brawn and no brains. Ami is just pure awesome. And also, let it be noted that at the end of the game, Ami starts to lose her own powers and slowly die. But the prayers of the people that she helped along her way restore her to full power and awaken her true form in order to finally destroy Yami once and for all. And if you think about it, the fact that the prayers from the very people that you helped just underscore how much of an awesome character she is. In number 6 is Tron from the Mega Man Legends series. If there's anything that attracts me to a woman more than anything else, that would have to be brains. I love an intelligent woman whom I can have a decent conversation with. And since I've yet to see a brainier woman than Tron, she just had to be in here. Although her full-time job might be sky pirating, which in and of itself is pretty damn awesome, she's also a mechanical engineering genius. And she can build anything from tiny little server bots to Godzilla-sized robots and aerial battleships. In the Marvel vs. Capcom series, she also pilots one of her own creations, the walking battle mech, Gustav. I also find her personality to be a bit quirky, but adorably charming, as she can be stubborn and prideful. She can also be very temperamental and a bit of a sore loser, but she is charmingly awkward and cute in front of a potential love interest. Plus, she values her own creations, the Surfbots, enough to consider them as family, and she cherishes family above everything else, even the prospect of loot and Mega Man Volnut himself. Now there's a woman with personality. Most Final Fantasy fans drool over Tifa or Aerith. Others even consider Terra or Celes as some of the best female characters in RPG history. But for me, I chose a female character that has all the best aspects and qualities of the 4 previous mentioned characters. And that character to me is Yuna from Final Fantasy X. Now before you start tearing me a new one, please listen. Even if Yuna is not the most physically able fighter and ends up getting kidnapped once or twice, she has an amazing inner strength. As a summoner, she has a duty to rid the world of sin at the cost of her own life. And even if the time of peace that'll come might be fleeting, she does not regret her own sacrifice. Don't you think that's sort of reminiscent of Aerith? Also, in parallel with Aerith, she is kind-hearted, loyal, a bit naive, and always tries to believe in the best in people. Not only that, she often places the needs of others above her own. She even goes out of her way to marry a total dickwad just to please the people, when she clearly holds nothing but disgust for the guy. She was born from an all-bad mother, and always feared being persecuted and discriminated against by her friends if they ever were to find out. Ain't that right, Waka Mamon? And even when her faith in the foundation of her holy teachings were shaken to the very core, she resolved to continue her pilgrimage despite Tidus and Riku's protests. When finally confronted with the truth of the final summoning and the spiral of death, her faith in Yevon was finally destroyed. And yet, she refused to use the life of another, especially one of her guardians, to kill Sin under the pretense of false hope. Wow. That is incredible resolve and adamant strong convictions. I won't talk about Yuna in Final Fantasy X-2, since I consider that game an abomination to mankind, but in the Dissidia Duodecim, she plays a major part in the story, and not only that, she is tons of fun to play as, using her Aeons in an original, fun, and awesome way. All in all, Yuna is a very solid character who gets nothing but respect from me. She is self-giving, generous, and with a will impossible to bend, she more than deserves to be this high up. From the very moment I saw Aqua, I knew I was going to like her. Even her name derives from Latin and means water, while Skyri means sea in Japanese. I see what you did there, Square Enix. Like Sora is Japanese for sky and Ventus is Latin for wind. Oh, you clever little bastards, you. In the events of Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep, Aqua is a recently alleged Keyblade master who specializes in magic and agility over speed and power. And I have to admit, I love the way she plays. At first I was a bit skeptical, but after a few minutes with her, I just loved her flow of movements. Her personality is serious, kind, strong-willed, responsible, and modest. Also, she has a great devotion to her friends that is very similar and reminiscent of Sora. But unfortunately, she plays the tragic figure in this game, as do all main protagonists. In the main events of the game, she, Terra, and Ventus confront Xehanort and Vanitas, only to suffer major casualties. After the confrontation, Ventus is left in a comatose-like state and kept safe within a locked-away land of departure, which turns out to be Castle Oblivion. Aqua then treks the possessed Terra back to Radiant Garden and battles him. But as Terra North falls through a portal to the Dark Realm, Aqua dives in after him, but quickly realizes that she's unable to save them both. Instead, she sacrifices both her armor and Keyblade to save her once dear friend, while she remains behind. After almost 12 years of blindingly stumbling in the Dark Realm, fighting heartless and surviving, she reaches the shores of the Dark Meridian, where she meets Ansem the Wise. He then reveals how long she has been absent and explains to her the events that have occurred in her absence. Now knowing that Sora will rescue her and her friends, she sheds one single tear while uttering his name, with new renowned hope. Even after giving her all to save and protect her friends, she still failed. But she did not falter within the Dark Realm. And now, with newfound hope, she awaits the day she can finally make amends for the past. Number 3 is Avril Von Fleur from Wild Arms 5, or for y'all non-French speaking folk out there, Avril Von Fleur. And ooh boy, this one's a doozy. Avril is one of Dean's potential love interests in Wild Arms 5, as she has a very mysterious past, as she literally shows out of nowhere before crossing paths with our main protagonists. But apparently she's suffering from amnesia and remembers only one thing, a single name. Johnny Appleseed. And this is basically the setting for the beginning of the game. As the game progresses, we see that Avril has quite the infatuation for Dean, but since Dean plays the clueless youth archetype, sorry Avril, but you're not getting through to this one. All throughout the game, we see some NPCs acting weird around her, calling her the Ice Queen and all. But later, we find out that the Ice Queen was a tyrannical ruler who lived over 1,000 years ago, and that Avril is that very same person. And although the Ice Queen lives up to her name as a tyrant, Avril is the complete opposite, as she emits nothing but purity and innocence, and is a very sweet and caring individual. So how can these two be the very same? Well, let me explain this as easily and as briefly as I can. At some point in the past, she was put into cryogenic sleep, waking up in the present. And the thing is, when she wakes up, she remembers nothing of her past. Later in the game, after beating Volsung, Avril goes back in time, switching her consciousness with her past self, the Ice Queen. And this explains a lot of things. like Dean's arms being built over 1,000 years in the past when they were specifically built just for him, and why Avril had them in the first place. The sad part about this is that for the sake of the world, her friends, and her love, she willingly entrapped herself within a time loop that she can never escape from, being doomed to repeat the same fate over and over for all of eternity. Perhaps the only uplifting bit about Avril's tortured existence is that, and this is only hinted very subtly in the game, is that every time she travels in time, history changes ever so slightly. It could be hoped that Avril may yet find some way to escape her fate and restore a happy ending for herself. Meet Rose from The Legend of Dragoon. What's so special about Rose? Oh, nothing. Just that she's over 12,000 years old, and within those 12,000 years she's carried the burden of saving humanity every 108 years. And as gratitude, she was depicted as a legendary cursed dark beast that seeks nothing but death and destruction. And that's not all. Prior to her time being stopped, we find out that she's one of the original Dragoon warriors that participated in the war to liberate humanity from the tyrannical rule and oppression of the Winglies over all species. She's a cold and distant character at first, but she slowly warms up to us. As she lived for so long, she is very knowledgeable about the world and many other matters, as she's usually the one to know all the answers to the most uncommon subjects. But she is also a prodigy in sword fencing, as she is definitely one of the best defensive characters to use in battle. Besides, have you seen her Dragoon armor? It's so freaking cool! Not to mention, her elemental affiliation is to darkness. I love characters who are attuned to darkness. That is, when darkness isn't the generic evil in play. As the game progresses, we learn that she failed to fulfill her duty, and she's unaware of this, as she had played right into the hand of the game's villain. But by the end of the game, she encounters someone from her past, Zeke, her past love, and at the end of the game, as Melbuframa dies a slow death, she and Zeke stay behind to land the finishing blow on the villain, as they both die in each other's loving embrace. And this is what I like about Rose. With such a burden that she had to carry for so many years, she finally found people she could connect with, and at the end, she finally found her long-deserved peace. Amaterasu was depicted as a mother figure. Tron had the brains. Yuna showed incredible convictions and inner strength. Aqua sacrificed herself for the greater good. Avril doomed herself for love. And alone, Rose carried the weight of the world on her shoulders for too long. The #1 spot has all of these characteristics and is without a doubt the greatest woman to exist in video game history. And she is, like there were any doubts, the boss, aka the Joy from Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater, an incredible character who displays nothing but admirable qualities. There's just too much to say about her. The boss is a legendary American soldier who founded and leaded the Cobra unit, as well as being widely known as the mother of the US Special Forces. Despite being the game's antagonist, which by the end we find out that she really wasn't the bad guy, only a double agent sent on a death mission, the boss had a strength and depth of character not seen in many other characters, as well as an indomitable sense of honor. Her gender never held her back. Even when she was pregnant, she was still out there in the battlefield. And this easily preceded her reputation. She stands as both a mother figure and a mentor to Big Boss. One of the rare occasions where a lot would be lost if a central character's gender happened to be reversed. Indeed, she was a huge influence on a lot of games' characters. Even after her death, Big Boss stated that killing her made him feel like he had killed part of himself. Through pure competence and nobility of spirit, this one female character stands out and above all else set the standard for a new age of video game women. This has been That Rusty Gamer, aka the Red Eye Hound, and I salute you, boss.